Hi there, welcome to Modern Wall Street Trader Talk. It is Thursday, which means we have Matt Cheslock from Virtu Financial to weigh in on the market action. Matt, welcome to the show. Thank you, as always, for joining me.
Sure, we got a lot to talk about this week.
We sure do, and I think one of the most notable ones is the Federal Reserve, not just because they raised rates for the second time yesterday, but because of the statements made during the announcement. So what kind of forward guidance did you hear in terms of shrinking the balance sheet and additional rate hikes?
Well, I think the shrinking of the balance sheet is the most important thing to look at. If they're going to do it on a staggered approach that they talked about, it is actually one way to raise rates without actually raising rates. So that's important to keep in mind, because we've talked about the Fed numerous times. They said they want to raise it 2 to 3 more times. But now, if they're so data dependent, they can't do that. So one way to do it would be to cut the balance sheet, and that would effectively raise the rates on its own. So, that's one quiver that they have in their arsenal, hopefully that they'll use, and hopefully the market will start to respect that going forward, that it's not just the data that we're worried about, but we are worried about this balance sheet.
Something I'm a little confused about is the yield curve, because after that announcement, yields collapsed. Could it be possible that while they're raising the short-term rates, long-term rates could actually lower, and what kind of impact would that have?
That's really that's something that you really have to talk about. I mean, that's a really important. That's almost beyond me. I'm such a short-term trader, but we did notice the financials had a huge move after the Federal Reserve talked yesterday. They were down all day, and they were the one that really caught the bid side to it. So something leads me to believe that the yield curve will widen again, and maybe that's why financials got involved. I think that was a short-term reaction. But, that's yet to be seen. I'm not going to go far out and look at the 2-year compared to the 10-year and how it's going to relate. I'm still an equity guy, and what I did notice was the financials benefited from that trade yesterday.
All right, so let's stick with equities, because in the past week we did see most of the indices hit record highs, and now we're seeing a bit of a sell-off today. Is that because buyers aren't there to sustain these highs, or what's going on?
Well, we've got a lot of liquidity events coming up for buyers to get involved, and sellers as well. But we're just seeing the same theme that's persisted for the last 6.5 months, is a rotation. We're rotating out of some of the bigger technology names that have dominated this marketplace. So their moves have been dramatic. It started on Friday, and now we're starting to see them accelerate a little bit to the sell side. It's nothing worrisome yet. It's just a little bit of profit taking, but some sectors that have been underwhelming to the market, financials being one, retail being another. Energy may start to pick its head up here as oil's held kind of the low end of the range here. You may start to see them out of tech and into those kind of names.
All right, well, before I let you go, I have to ask you about this epic rebalance, we're calling it, tomorrow, especially in GDXJ, which is the Junior Gold Miners ETF. Now, last week you saw some action in silver. Are you seeing any changes this week ahead of the game?
You know what? I think they may have gotten a little ahead of themselves on the trade. The fact that gold has had such a big move both ways. It broke through some key resistance levels a week and a half to 2 weeks ago, where it broke through 1290. It looked like it was confirmed on the upside. Then it broke down again, and it broke down hard yesterday after Janet Yellen was talking. So the trade may be a little skewed on the price action of gold, but we should see some massive volume tonight and tomorrow, especially on the close, because we've never seen a JDXJ rebalance of this size and this magnitude. So it'll be really interesting. This is what traders look for down here, and be prepared for some volatility and some volume.